Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. I'm Dave Leese.
And I'm Jonathan Byer. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Jonathan. Welcome to This and That. We are going to discuss all things about the path to victory, the coronavirus, what is going to happen with the World Figure Skating Championships, a preview for the World Junior Figure Skating Championships, Alexa Knierim's partner, a lot to go on. So be sure to subscribe below and smash that like button. Love us, love us. Okay. Jonathan, how was your day? I'm feeling very busy, but, you know.
Yeah, I watched that skating show. I didn't even know that was happening.
Yes.
Very extensive. I thought it was a skating-free weekend, and I was wrong.
No, never. Okay.
Yeah, it's no such thing. Yeah.
So, I had my plans for this weekend, and then I got a text from Ms. Alyssa Cisney yesterday, and that said, you should come to our Edge class and our show. That they did it at the Cody Arena in the Oranges. I don't know, the one that has the Turtleback Zoo. And it's one of those oranges. And I went to it, and, I usually take it was one of those, Ice Theater of New York Edge classes that I've always, seen on Facebook and Instagram, the clips of, the edges with, the arm that goes up, and then you skate, and, you look like a flock of birds, and, you do all
Amazing.
those, beat bending and stuff, and... So Doug Webster used to be the director of Ice Theater, and then he started Ice Dance International. And I have to say, I think Ice Dance International is a lot better than Ice Theater.
Oh, how so?
I think because they work on the pieces more and they perform them more. So they're going on a mini tour right now. They were in Boston. They're going up to Vermont, and then they're going to Idaho and to Sun Valley and places. And they have all the real skatery people. Alyssa Cisney is in it, and Roheen.
Well, I mean, that's worth it alone. Yeah.
Adam Kaplan, Neil Shelton is in it. A bunch of people with a name. Ian Laurello, who is involved with the next Ice Age, the John Curry, also the other group. So a lot of people that were really fantastic, skaters. The Kerrs were both there, but they didn't skate. So they were. I know that they're involved. They're all these people with their wonderful edges, and are all JoJo was hosting the event, of course.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, I've always been meaning to take her edge class with the old ladies. I heard there's a lot of fabulous edges going on that takes place during the day. She does more a coffee club, as it's called. One of those middle of the day for adult skaters.
C-class.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Okay.
But yes, we did our edge classes, and of course, in front of amazing people. I think I bit it. One time I fell because I was trying not to hit a small girl behind me, so I don't count that. But I did just fall on nothing at one point. So,
It happened.
It happened. It was fine. Okay, but we did learn the highlight really was at the end. Ian Laurello ended it by doing kind of on Stars on Ice when the company all skates together and they all do the same moves at the same time.
Right.
Only it looked much better because it was kind of all John Curry-ish type skaters doing the old school
I know,
Stars.
it's just amazing, that kind of stuff.
All those all the tall giraffes were there, girls, guys, all your kind of people, Jonathan.
I know, those total lines, big diagonals,
And it's not like the Ashley Wagner crew where they're never in unison and they don't really these people they all any exercise that we were doing the 3 turns they all could count and do it
seriously.
Yes, it was. Oh yeah. So I posted some clips, and I took some others that I'll edit together and post. So, all right. Well, a lot is going on. We have to talk about this coronavirus. I know Mike Pence is in charge of it, so we are in good hands.
And by April, unfortunately, I heard by April it's going to be fine.
By April, by next, who knows? It could be hopefully a lot of nothing. It could be quite serious. So, it changes kind of by the day, although I was just seeing that there was a case in New York. It's starting to, obviously, there's going to be cases that spread. So, but the ISU announced that the World Short Track Speed Skating Championships for March 13th through 15th are canceled, and that is because they are supposed to take place in Korea, and obviously the virus is quite spreading quite rapidly within Asia. The other thing is that they can't just reschedule the World short track speed skating championships until possibly October because they can't get it in. And the other thing is, remember when they had the tsunami and the earthquake in Japan, the earthquake that caused the tsunami, in 2011, they moved it to Russia, and it was about, I think, like 3 to 4 weeks later, or it was, within the same season, but it was a prolonged, elongated season that year. It seems like this season, obviously because the virus isn't dead and it's not likely to be gone in a month, there are kind of more things that are up in the air. They said that the World Junior Championships and the World Championships are still scheduled to keep going, but, other people keep saying that different events keep getting canceled, so I think it's just to play it by ear. I think one of the good things is that there are a lot of skaters who have kind of been in Canada already preparing. I think some of the Chinese skaters are working with Lori Nickel. Obviously, Yuzuru Hanyu is there. Rika Kihira has worked a lot with Tom Dixon and things like that. So there are a lot of skaters that are currently within North America. There are a lot of skaters who are already obviously going to the World Juniors, and that's still scheduled. So I don't know. I think it's
And I don't mean to put you on the spot, and yet here we are again. Do we know where the Junior World Championships are being held this year?
Yes, we do, because I have the page up with all the names of the competitors. They are taking place in Tallinn, Estonia.
Okay.
The only thing there is that Italy, I think, has the coronavirus quite strong.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Yeah, a lot of events that have been taking place in Italy have been canceled. I don't know what that means.
Of course, our friend Lewis flew to Italy this weekend. Lewis from FSU, who is a world traveler. He's like, I'm going to Italy this week. Well,
Well, it's probably cheap. Yeah. Not that was his concern.
That was not his concern. It's like,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to kind of play it by ear, but it would obviously be such a shame if the Worlds were canceled. I don't know when they could reschedule them. I mean, that would be a logistical nightmare. So
yeah, 100%.
And then obviously, if they had to cancel these Worlds, help allocate the slots for the pre-Olympic Worlds in 2021, which are extremely important. Right. So I don't know. Hopefully they'll just happen in Montreal. I know that the ice dance, the Gabois School, but they are now International Academy of Montreal. They are having different events to welcome people to the world. So it seems like people are doing a lot of nice things. The ISU invited and then disinvited Phil Hirsch to an event. Like, I couldn't believe that they if you mistakenly send Phil Hirsch an invite, I think you let him come, right? Like, don't...
You have to honor that. Yeah, like, how strange.
What are they upset with Phil about? I don't know. He just I don't know. The whole thing. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It was a very strange thing. I didn't get to message him about it, but that's funny. So, anyway, there's been some stuff going on with the American pairs. I don't know if you've been aware of this, but Alexa and Chris are no longer going to be competing together. Chris has decided to retire from skating, and Alexa is going to continue. So, Jonathan, we haven't talked about it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you did that great video about it, which I found very interesting, including the clip where she did her welcome to the skating lessons bit.
I forgot that happened until the other day.
I didn't.
I forgot about some of the individual details in there. That was a fun trip.
Yeah.
One of my favorite interviews was them, but I don't think when people ask me what my favorite interviews are, I just things blend together.
It was a different one because it was in person and you were on the trip. It wasn't one of the more formal regimented ones, but
I remember that day very well. Well,
and you were on a marathon trip, so
yes.
You were having moment after moment on that trip, I think. So
well, it was just a lot of work and a lot of new things. So when you doing a trip like that, they had done it in the website Gymnastique, which is not full of gymnastics. So they had done things like that, and we're like, I want to do things like that.
Yeah.
And when we started to do it, it went well in Montreal. I remember we were on the way to the rink when we were in Montreal, and Jenny and I were like, wait, do you have the camera or do I have the camera? We each thought the other person had the camera. So we had to like turn around. Things like that happen, Yeah. But I think on that one, what I remembered is that we had blocked out when we were going to work with each of the teams. And, we were working with Tom Z the day before. I think it was like maybe a Wednesday or Thursday or whatever. And then the day that we were going to work with Alexa and Chris and, film, I remember like Tom Z, we're trying to make the session times, and Tom Z, he's a marketing person, guru, I mean, guru might be a strong word, but enthusiastic and marketing enthusiast. We felt like he was trying to like steal our attention, like away from Alexa and Chris. It was just like
I believe that.
Just like a funny, there's a lot going on at these rings, a lot of personalities. So anyway.
Insane. I mean, okay, a couple of things. I thought it was so weird that they had to push the narrative so hard that this had nothing to do with their marriage. Like, that was the opening line, was their marriage is fine and they're splitting up their partnership. And it was interesting. Back in 2016, 17, whenever a lot of people came for me because we first started talking about, wouldn't it be amazing if Alexa just could skate with Danny? It was just a conversation about matching people, because for so long there's been this kind of iteration over and over again from commentators, from articles, that the problem with U.S. pairs was that no one stayed together long enough.
Well, that used to be a problem. Well, okay, there used to be a problem that they would always split. But
but you got to put the right ones together to begin with. And I think that was where it didn't mean forcing a mismatched pair to stay together because it was suddenly going to click on year 8. Mm-hmm. Because we would see people that were better paired up, like you were talking about. Nina just throwing people together. The Chinese Federation just swapping partners when they need to. A lot of our greatest pairs came together later. Even Megan Duhamel could have still been, just hitting her head against the wall with her old partner. So it's interesting to me. I think we're finally getting that we can kind of shuffle around a little bit and see what the best option is here. But everyone came after me because they thought it meant I wanted them to get a divorce, or that it would. I don't understand why any of it would have to do.
I know. That's, I think, more of an American thing. People get very sensitive and very protective, and it's different. In Russia, and I alluded to this in the video. So Nina Mosier, who we call Elton John, I feel like some people are always late to the game that Nina Mosier is Elton John.
Because she used to also wear those big funky white glasses in addition to a big, fur lamb coat, and then the hair on it. It's just like too much. Yeah,
it's too much. So, and it happened organically. It just flew out. And it was Elton John. Whatever.
Yeah, and it stuck.
It stuck. Everyone else was calling her Elton John. Yeah. So, anyway, and by the way, that's not. Elton John can be a little bit feminine too, so it's like we're skirting the line, okay? It's like everyone is gender bending, okay? Anyway.
Yeah, it's fluid.
Apparently, within Russia, at different times, Nina has split teams up and like rematched them on a session.
Yeah.
Just like, and...
Well, because what is the point? To just continue if there's a ceiling to that limitation. And, we've known people that have done okay. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I think some of these people didn't realize that they could have been so much more than okay with the right partnership.
Yeah, I have to ask Igor, so, the coaches that I take from Kristen and Igor, they obviously were ice dancers, and they coach a lot of ice dancers. And they always have a lot of teams that, again, they're all matched properly. Like Igor is Russian. I don't see him like putting people together who don't like mesh well. I just don't see them doing that, wasting their time like that. So it is interesting that so many American teams are not ideally matched when they have all of these pair camps, but then they seem afraid. They seem to want to, because we're a democratic, society, they want the people to make their own choices, but there are so many politics. People are so afraid to split. Well, are the Canes politically favored? What if someone moved? Peter Kane was a judge. Are people going to get upset? And who's friends with these? There's so many feelings and stuff like that. But obviously, when you have a pair, we were just watching The Path to Victory, and we'll discuss, but Voloshyzar and Trankov were not together immediately, right? She had that she was with Stanislav Morozov, who was like very big and bulky and kind of a not a beautiful skater, okay? He was not ideal for skating and not matched with her. He was with Maria Makordova. They could not get along at all. They were skating to Love Story, and the commentators would always talk about how much they hated each other. And apparently there had been like quasi tryouts. It was known that they were going to team up the next season, and it already was known that they had like a running head start, and because they were matched so well and they had the same technique, they medaled in their first season together. So
right. I mean, it's fascinating. Now, the difference also, I think maybe when Sandra was on the show once, she was talking to us about this, where she was like explaining that it becomes so complex with two sets of parents of young American skaters that often that's where it goes awry. And so then we get these certain situations, like as it was very fascinating in the video, how you kind of went through, she could, not that any of these are real options, or that they would be willing to part. We don't know that. This is just all speculation. But who in a dream world would make the best pair? And I think that they just feel like they've done it for so long, and they've received some moderate success. I don't think a medal at Four Continents means you've made it for some of these talents that are unaware of how far they could go in a different part.
And it's interesting because Four Continents is a competition that changes year to year, right? They've really tried to make it like the Europeans, but because of the timing of it in an Olympic season, it isn't the same competition that even Europeans in an Olympic year, it was a preview of the Olympics. We did see Medvedeva and Zagitova, and kind of the changing of the guard.
And Sotnikova, all of these started their campaigns there.
But not at the Four Continents because of the way when the nationals are and how that is for those countries. Interesting because, Tara and Danny have won at Four Continents, but it's not in the same year. When Alexa and Chris medaled at Four Continents in the World Championship year, before the World Championships in Boston, that was a huge deal. They got it together. They did good programs.
But having been the only American pair in recent history to have made the Grand Prix final.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So, lots, always in flux there. But they did have a lot. Interesting thing that I realized when we were rewatching this video is it made me really think about I remember Jenny and I interviewed Alexa and Chris in 2013 in the summer, and they were a new team, a new couple. I remember Jenny joked like Alexa wore her prom dress to come on the skating lesson. I forget what she wore. I don't remember. But what I remember is that shortly after we interviewed them, Chris broke his leg. I remember they came back really quick, and then they struggled and the whole bit. But before that, when I was looking at the clips to edit in, Chris was landing those Salchows like nothing, like the best they ever looked. And I really wondered how much that first injury really affected his jumps and how it's just been one injury after another with him. So when we have this narrative that Chris can't land his jumps, I wonder how much is his body breaking down, because I remember when Skate America, when they won the silver medal, they were like, they did like a Senior B, Skate America, a Senior B in Austria, and then their second Grand Prix, and then the final, and then they had like an up and down season. But I remember Alexa telling me that Chris had a problem with his knee at that point in time, and I don't know what the exact knee injury is because they were keeping it quiet, but he was seeing like a trainer, a massage, and getting like a lot of treatment on it, and he didn't have it when they were at the Senior B, but he had it at Skate America, and they did much better at Skate America than they did at the Senior B. And then they had the trainer get it at a different competition. So there was a lot of things in flux there. And I know he had a patella injury in maybe the Olympic season, but there's been a lot of injuries going on. I know that both of his wrists have been a problem, his shoulder's been a problem. So I just wonder how much of that has affected their training and their confidence. And then I was rewatching the World Championships in Boston. They said that they had lost training time before that event due to injuries. So I just think that there's been a lot of... first of all, she had her health issue, but they've had a lot of things. Other important thing is that when Alexa had her health issue with the, her digestion. 16 into 17.
Yeah, okay.
Chris really stepped up that season, and perhaps because there was so much focus on can Alexa make it through, that was one of his best years. Really, like landing, like he really, that wound up being one of their best skates, even though that was such a deep field at the time. For them to get a top 10 finish was so huge and challenging, and there were so many teams at that point in time. This year at the World Championships a little bit lighter, so I don't know, like, if Kane and Leduc go, they may finish higher. Who knows? Can all the teams even go to the World Championships? What will they do? There are things that are up in the air with some of the Chinese skaters and things like that. So I don't think we know. You wonder if they will get a little bit of an artificial boost of confidence so that they're higher in the world than perhaps they are. I do think that Tim Leduc is the one skater that I really...
Yeah, so let's talk it out bullet point by bullet point.
Okay.
So first in the video, you brought up Danny. And it was interesting. First of all, they've already announced their music. Mm-hmm. So it does seem like they're moving ahead. I wonder, we know that the Alexa and Chris thing kind of came to a head at Four Continents. Mm-hmm. But I think the writing in some way has been on the wall for a while that...
We talked about it when we saw the two of them, the difference that we saw in energy between the two. And I mentioned that in the video, but we talked about that just...
Because she was in fight. She's a competitor through and through. That girl has got to be
She came up to both of us and talked to us both days.
She knew what she's doing. I get her, and I'd like her, and she just had all of that. Mm-hmm. Then I didn't know if Chris's kind of backseat was to balance that out, or it sort of seemed on the
different.
Outside.
Yeah.
Burnt out, probably tired of worried about the injury, tired of figuring this out, tired of changing the jump entrances,
And she looked like a rough girl. When we were watching them in practice, she was doing all those different drills that Raphael does, where they're swinging left or the sound comes.
She did it. You know what I mean? And I think, so it was clear, and for a while, all this up and down, and even her manic expressions at previous nationals, just let you knew the energy at home was clearly, by home I mean in training, was clearly just a little off. Okay, so I think Danny has the best skating skills, so I would love for that. How do they match together? I don't know. I think it could work, but it was interesting. People were talking about the lack of his explosive arm strength in, for instance, like the twist. But we also know that he's currently dealing with a partner who can at times be literal dead weight in the air, whereas Alexa is so talented in the air that it's hard to start pinpointing in a pair who's the weaker thing in that element here. But I can't help but feel with Alexa he'd figure it out and they would have a good twist. Conversely, I mean, you made really good points when you said he may not be. I don't know if you used the word ox, and I mean it in a positive way.
Brandon, I said, is an ox. Yeah,
and something like that with those huge pair element things that come so inherently to him. But he may also have a more talented partner in the air also. Mm-hmm. I mean, because Haven is good in the air. She just can't do any of the jumps.
I think Brandon is similar to Chris. Neither Chris nor Brandon are going to be in Ice Dance International at any point in time. That's news to no one. I don't think either one will be offended by that. What I would say is that obviously Alexa and Chris have their romantic connection together. Brandon and Alexa wouldn't. I think they would make a lot of sense in terms of strength-wise. Together, I think it would be easy to plug Brandon in. The problem...
But I think we've not seen, so we see that lovey-dovey connection because that's always been played up in the choreographic choices. Again, I think some of Chris and Alexa's finest material was when they were with Benoit and Aliona. In that Nebelhorn thing, I know they didn't win, but the groundwork was laid to really do a bit more important choreography, more innovative stuff.
And Benoit did their programs this year as well. But
then kind of reverted to the formula.
Well, Look, they're with Jenny and Todd, the king and queen of that, okay, of the At Last, okay.
But I think Alexa has more. I think Alexa has more to offer than that thing. So
I like the naughty music. I don't have a problem with it. I know the At Last, people like the Knierims, they did the other thing before. Like, I get it. And see, you know, like that's... I think they're also trying to play that up because, you know, people are like, well, you have such a romantic connection. You should play that up on the ice. That's your advantage.
Yeah,
so.
It's some cocktail party, some judge saying that. But
listen, that blonde woman that works with them that's in the Kiss and Cry, she's on the board of the USFS, honey. So she used to be one of Law's coaches, by the way.
Oh, full circle.
Mm-hmm.
But for instance, Rene Rocca doing the Lion King program. Brennan does innovative well because he's a good lifter. He's good. I don't know. I think they could do edgier stuff if they were partnered together. Oh. Again, I don't know that that's in the cards for them to split.
I mean, did you see her double axel?
I've seen it forever, and I mean, we were
Jonathan,
jumping up and
rotating
down.
it on the ice. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's not. Yeah. I think that they've done great things. I'm not saying that like. They have done
and she's great in
things.
the air. She is very talented in the air.
They did medal together at 2 Grand Prix. They were weaker fields, and not everyone was performing up, and Kane LeDuc did not perform well at Skate America. It's one of those things. I don't think that they have more than we've seen, especially because of the way that the ISU has changed the points and the values. I mean, they're not going to do a quad twist or something like that, or a quad throw, where maybe... I mean, Alexa used to do the quad throw, or, you know, you can make up points in that way. So I don't think that Haven and Brandon have more than what we've seen. What they're going to go, you know, the rumors that they're in Colorado at the moment. Perhaps they've worked with Tom Z in the past on jumps. I mean, the umpteenth person, I mean, they have sent in everyone to help Haven.
I'm sure it would have been fixed by now if it was as simple as that. And it's just, sometimes there has to be, from a federation standpoint, I would assume, sort of this come to Jesus moment where we're like, here's the ceiling, kids. What are we going to do? Because you bring up a very interesting point in that video when you were talking about Ashley and Tim. Because on paper, it's all about perspective. You could look at that resume and say, this is a team with accolades. They are doing everything right. They are an asset. We must keep them. Mm-hmm. And yet, someone who can dream bigger and think outside of the box may see, this is nothing compared to what's possible if we do a little repartnering here. But I feel the Federation wants this quasi-successful team to stay together and take instead of what I wished they would do and take a risk to have a very successful.
Yes, because the way I look at it is that they're going to what I think that they will try to do is replace the Knierims with Kane LeDuc and be like, this is going to be the leading team that we push now. Because the Knierims, they paid for them to train with Aliona. They have been supported by the Federation, right? And
rightfully so. They, I think, were the most talented pair we have.
And the Canes have had some pull nationally, but we have not, other than Ashley and Tim reaching quasi-success, we have not seen a great return on investment from the Canes as coaches. Like, let's be real about this. They have gotten a lot of B and C list talent.
They could have run away with this.
We have not seen Amber Glenn materialize into what she could be. You know, we have not seen them really package and train these skaters to get as successful as they could be. They seem like decent coaches, but it seems like more politics and Instagram marketing than results. And a lot of, you know, people have left. And I do think that Tim with Alexa would be at least have more of a shot, right? I think
it was so nice when you were including those clips. I remember being live at 2014 Nationals with you actually, and seeing Tim and Didi, and you were. I was in awe of the stretch and the line and the classic elegance and amazing beauty, and then juxtaposed, I think he has to rein himself in to not overshadow now.
I find that he used to have a very classical approach, a more Russian approach when they were with Sergei Zaitsev, who is, if I mess up his last name, but he was a Moskvina. student, and then you move along, and he's with Ashley Kane. He's bulked up to be able to lift Ashley. I mean, he needed to bulk up, strengthen anyway, but he is bulked up in his torso, and it kind of cuts off his line, and that's a lot of thing that people talk about.
And none of their material
suits him. It's all suits because she likes to be a flapper, and it's like the two of them being. It's a very weird chemistry for me, and that's not to shade him. And she's been very supportive of him, and he's been very out about who he is. Don't you think Alexa would be more fun for a gay man though? I feel like a gay man would understand.
It would
Alexa.
show us a whole new portfolio of what Alexa can do. And again, seeing that initial Nebelhorn program, there is an angular, funky, cool thing. There is a
I think Tim could do the castle program. Boom, boom. The opening that always looked a little awkward, right. Trying to get Chris to move in modern dance ways.
Because you knew Chris was being told
he was doing it for her, okay?
Yeah, it's true. And Tim would be doing it for Tim. And that reads differently. Mm-hmm. So, but again, I think they're going to think that they're so successful, they're national champions once. Like, I think that they won't budge, even though...
Here's my thing.
They need someone to shake it up.
I think Mitch and Kyoko are going to say, oh, we can't split up Kane and Leduc. It'll upset Nina, who's worked with them. Because... Meanwhile, Nina is just taking all of their money. I don't think Nina could give a shit, okay, about any of this.
Yeah, we've not seen her work in action.
2, Nina understands better than anyone about putting two strengths together and making a stronger team. That is Nina's religion. So I don't think that Nina would actually care. She might care more about if she got a Russian partner for TJ and, they got to keep the Russian skater with him. She might care more about that in the interim. I don't think TJ is an option anyway. I think he's too mature and has too much of a reputation within skating for that to really... Yeah,
no. I think...
And too unproven. She needs someone... Now, still, if they go the Russian route, I could see them doing something like Stilbova's partner.
But now, to me, going the Russian route defeats the whole purpose, because if her goal... I mean, Alexa also...
Plus, you can't get more American than, like, Alexa and Chris, working on the hot rod and then skating. Like, I just...
Right. And I don't see it being a fit, maybe logistically, but also, I mean, if it's going to take the Olympics off the table, I think that's the only thing we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. So...
Otherwise, I think you could put Alexa and Chris in, like, Holiday on Ice and call it a day.
But he may even need time off the ice entirely. I mean, it sounds like the poor man has to heal in many ways, and rightfully so. He should take that time. Yeah. Because we've talked on the show several times about people who don't take the time or think that taking the time means taking 2 weeks and suddenly everything is fine again. He went through major life stuff. I didn't realize the dad was only 49 when he passed away. All of this absolutely big deal stuff that he should just take his time. I don't know what it will be like for him to be at the rink every day, and I don't know.
He might like it, though. He might be ready. So, we'll
taking away the fragility of his body. Yeah. And it's just sharing the knowledge. Yeah.
So, and, he might be good. A lot of the best coaches are not the most natural talents.
No, because the less natural talents have to spend more time learning the craft.
Yeah.
Building stuff. Yeah.
Frank Carroll was not the most natural person, and oftentimes the ones who are natural don't have the temperament for coaching. Mm-hmm. So, interesting thing there, he may be very, very good at coaching all of this. So, interesting. More to come, I think, on that in the future. But I do think that rink has a lot of assets.
So you're Team Tim. I'm Team Danny, but I know it's not going to happen.
Well, I don't know. I'm open to any of the three. And I think that they would all be good options for different reasons. I think they're all good options.
And I think all three will be afraid to split.
But I do think that Tim is the smartest.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, the smartest guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
In terms of his own career. The only thing is that he may be shell-shocked from when he tried to upgrade in the past and it didn't work out and he kind of got egg on his face and then went on the cruise ship and went off the map for a while. But that's where Mitch needs to do his job. And Mitch needs to be looking at this and looking at potential and really talking to Nina about being strategic, because the U.S. plays this game where the pairs are not as successful and they don't make these moves. And yes, by the way, there will be hurt feelings for all of, I don't know, a couple of months. If they do split up teams, there will be people that will badmouth this, right? However, there is nothing that speaks more than results in skating. People are wowed by results. They would be over it within 5 seconds if the U.S. had a successful pair. If the U.S. had a successful pair, the whole country would get in line. Look at how all of a sudden the ice dance was a joke in the U.S. until Tanith and Ben started meddling. And then people went from making fun of Naomi and Peter to celebrating Tanith and Ben to then rooting for Meryl and Charlie. So you think about, to have a successful pair in the U.S., people would get behind it, I think, rather quickly.
Right.
So
100%. Yeah.
Please. Winning in the U.S., it's like...
We're ready. We're ready.
Okay. So
someone posted a meme of like, it should be Deanna and Alexa. And that I would watch. Back to same-sex pairs. Yeah, here we go.
Should be ready. Okay.
Okay.
Michael Shanley said that too. And then he's like, well, you know, those Italians are more masculine anyway. He goes...
It's true. Who also worked with Nina, and I can't say I ever really saw the effect Nina had on them either.
Oh, Matteo and...
Yeah.
I think Deanna should have tried to skate with Matteo and just represent Italy.
Yeah.
Because his partner, she hasn't landed a jump in a long time. So...
Yeah. They've lost their way a little bit, and something's going on there as well.
Deanna would love to work with Elton John. Are you kidding? She would... I digress. Well, let's talk about the World Junior Figure Skating Championships before we talk about this. Well, you know what? Let's talk about a Terry show first, okay?
Okay. What was this? This had some of the most phenomenal production value I have ever seen in a skating show.
So it was rushed, and actually, there weren't that many people in the stands, but you know who was there? Svetlana Horkina. And she was posting on Instagram.
Remember her? Yeah.
On the path to victory. I mean, this is how big of a deal that, Svetlana wanted to be seen there, okay? Well, it's a Nina Mosier and a Terry.
Because they had hashtag Mosier team and hashtag Team Tutberidze.
And they are they are like a political unit. Like there's something within Russia, the interesting politics, how it all works, whose doctor is with whom, like they are together, okay?
They are aligned.
Yeah, they're aligned. So, interesting that they are working together for this show, and they're supposed to have other performances, I believe. But originally, it's so funny, because I was originally getting messages from Russian fans saying that a lot of the skaters going to Junior Worlds weren't supposed to be in it, then a lot did perform in the show. So, I think we'll have to see there. But it did have production values. I thought the way the camera was... During Sherbakova's, it was distracting when you saw the music notes, but I think if you saw it in person, it would be very pretty.
I thought that's the same, the music notes, because it's all that kind of show stuff. To me, it always takes away from the skating. The spotlights sometimes were effective more than others, but in general, I just like to have the open lights and just to see everything. I don't want to be chasing a spotlight with it. But the music notes were bad because it was an aerial shot of her spinning, and she almost got lost in the notes. Mm-hmm. Which is something I might say about someone else's skating, but I meant literally the nose affected on the ice.
So I noticed, okay, so first of all, they got rid of the over-the-boot tights for Sherbakova and for Trusova. For Sherbakova, her line looks better. It does emphasize the sickle foot, maybe even more, because now she's so close to being perfect. Right. Also, the girl needs to take an edge class, as does Trusova. So both of the things, you're supposed to lean into the edge. You know, how Dick Button would always say, an edge the lean of the body. Well, when they're doing footwork, their blade is often leaning and their body is not in the proper alignment at all. And they have really weak ice coverage during their footwork sequences. And you can actually see how out of position they are and how much of a struggle bus their footwork sequences are. And then you look at someone like Medvedeva, when she was like light and little and everything was easy, her skating skills were less noticeable, that they weren't super strong, like in terms of Boston Worlds. And then as she's gotten taller, and her body has changed, they've gotten
more flaily,
and weaker. And you notice with Trusova and Sherbakova, you can really see it. And it's been with Sherbakova, if you go 2 years ago, it's less noticeable than now.
Right.
And that's something where they just don't, they worked on it more when they were younger, and it's kind of thing where bad habits develop and they're trying to eke out these step sequences, and they clearly spend what are they good at? They focus on this in terms of
look at them warm up, yeah.
And they are the best in the world at this. And they could be good at the edges, but they clearly stopped working on it at a certain point in time to focus on this.
Right.
But that is still a part of skating, and that does deteriorate over time. So I do think that that's something that they could.
Well, it was fascinating to see Kostornaia then come out, which is from the hips. It's from the core. There was just such a different kind of. It felt like she slices the ice more as she goes.
Doing her old short program, how do you think she looked? Because there have been rumors that she is quite injured. And I have to say that I thought in her movement that it showed.
A little tentative, yeah.
It's rumored that she has a back injury, that she hurt it practicing the quadruple salchow, and that it might be similar to Turzenbayeva's. I have to say that she looked very gingerly in some of her spinning in terms of how she was going into some of the movements. Look at her Ina Bauer before the double axel. She didn't go for the full arch.
So then I wonder, why are you doing this? Like, are they
Jonathan,
just turning
they're huge stars. They're wanting to
Yeah.
sell tickets. It's a warm up before the World Championships. Maybe she'll go to Germany before the Worlds. Who knows? Like what they are going to do.
Because it was interesting to see Trusova tried the triple axel here
and missed.
Failed.
Yeah.
But
she's
try
still
it.
trying though. That girl is still.
Yeah.
But I thought with Kostornaia, the flip jump looked rough.
Yeah.
But we have seen her look rough before, and then come a month later, and look much better. So, she did not look strong over the summer, and then looks much better now. I'm worried, but I'm not that worried. I think that they will push through. I mean, the reality is that this is her best shot to win a world title, probably in her life. She may not be around in a year. Looking at the injuries that these girls have and who's coming up, I think now is the time. It could change her entire life to become world champion. I think they're going to push through and do whatever it takes to get her where she needs to go for that Worlds. But I'm concerned. Like, is this...
Yeah.
I mean, will she have to take 3 months off after the Worlds and then be behind for next season? I mean, I don't think these girls are making it to the Olympics. So I think you go...
No, I think we know that. Know that. And it's like you were saying, you almost have to look to Daria, Camila, like these people may be peaking more in that time.
So I'm worried about Kostornaia. And she went for the flip again in the finale of it. But the leg wrap is like very noticeable too.
and the pick is just so unaesthetically pleasing compared to everything else she does, which is so lovely.
She's still my favorite. Really, it's still the best.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if Sherbakova should switch back to that other short program after seeing it.
I mean, she does feel these programs, like especially here. Maybe there was a little less pressure on her in the short, especially. She was just, I don't know. It was something was a bit more carefree about it, which I liked for her. Mm-hmm. Whereas versus seeing Trusova fall on the triple axel, Kostornaia being hesitant. I don't know. Anna had kind of a nice outing, I felt.
Yeah, for Anna, I don't know if that program is a little junior-ish, but I think it's a nice program. And she's still young. Mm-hmm. I don't know if maybe she should switch back to it. It's so nice. So, Trusova, it's interesting. She's wearing that hand-me-down dress. We've seen Zgitova in that dress. We've seen skaters before her in that dress. They love that blue dress.
It was nice to hear her at least skate to something pleasing to listen to.
I was thinking she should switch to that as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure 100% if that's a new short program officially or not, but I think they should probably do
They don't have to be afraid to go down that lovely route with her. Just because she's the jumper, I mean...
The dress makes her look slightly more artistic than the
Yes, I was going to say, it gave me a softer take away from her skating.
Yeah. I still don't care for it aesthetically, but yeah, it's...
Right.
But
it's a better vehicle for her.
Rika should just keep staying the course. Rika should go back to her old free skate too before the World. No one would miss all of the religions on the ice. And whatever, Tom Dixon did this both programs. He won't be that offended. It's just one of those things. Arseny, I thought was great. Arseny Fedotov was
I was going to say, I watched him and I thought, oh man, is this kid special?
I know, he's like my little nephew, right? He just is like, oh, yeah.
Like lightning rods through the fingertips. Every committed move, every turn was bigger than life. It was pretty amazing.
Now, your daughter, Maya Kromich, I thought had a really good outing here. I was seeing that she skated up. She looks ready she looks more confident. It looks like she's gotten her act together over the last couple of weeks. She made the World Juniors. She looked like the sort
really
of
maturing. Yeah.
Look, she's got a shot at the medals. We're going to discuss who, you know, what is happening there, but she's going, you know, I am sure they are getting on that airplane with the intention of taking home as many medals as possible, and that Maya is a part of that equation. I did notice Daria's flip is still scary, okay? Not just in the free skate, but the rest of Daria is still very lovely.
But what we've learned about Daria, or at least I believe is my takeaway from Daria, is it doesn't actually matter what's come before because she is so all over the place. She could have skated great here, and in my opinion, it might mean that she still could bomb at Junior Worlds or nail. There's no consistent momentum for her.
I really think they need to simplify the transitions, especially into the flip for her, and maybe the Lutz. I think they overload it for her. Those transitions aren't for everyone. Okay, they are designed to get extra points for a reason, and I think that the base jump is the most important at the end of the day. So I'm just saying, you know, it's not... It
was a surprise for me here, Dave, to see Voloshyzar and Trankov skating again. Is this the first time we've seen them?
You know, they've done shows like the Art on Ice.
They have. Okay.
Interesting to me is that when you don't put them with certain pieces of music, her lack of musicality is so glaring. Like, she gives you nothing.
The thing they did was that short. Yeah. The short with the classical. It helped enhance stuff, but this looked rusty. That's all. I mean, and understandably so. But like even throwing in the throw triple loop, you're like.
I thought they had a ton of interesting choreography, interesting poses, interesting tricks all over the place, and no connection to that music. And that soft music it's not about their skating at all.
It seemed thrown together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was or if that's just.
And how did she dye her hair? Did she dye it herself? What was that yellow color? Was that just the lights? Because that was
on
not
sale, or
I don't know. That was urea something. I don't know. It was like 911. Yeah. Buy your wife some better hair dye. Let her go to the salon. Interesting because they are such a beautiful pair, but she is such a cold performer. And I was wondering, you know, she's such a steady skater. I wonder if maybe she should be the coach because he's always been up and down and
inconsistent and wild and emotional and
maybe he should be a stay-at-home dad, right? There's so much talk about him. Does he like coaching? Does he not? Well, maybe she should be the coach and he could stay.
Because he's still a hothead in the arena. It sounds like he was about his skaters. He said some really off-color things about Tarasov and Morozov, and he's always yapping his trap to the press about this, that, or the other.
So Tarasov and Morozov are apparently nightmares to coach, but...
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, anyway, Zabiako and Enbert officially did retire. So, but I think that we kind of knew that was coming based on the fall. Yeah. So... And Daniil Samsonov is out of the World Juniors. Sad. Yeah. They're blaming it on like growth problems and injury situation. So I don't know. I worry about Mr. Daniil. He's very serious, so I'm sure this is.
I know he's probably devastated.
I know.
Like for real, anyone would be, but like the kind of gravitas he's probably carrying around with this is much.
Yeah. So looking at the World Juniors, it's actually going to be a really exciting competition. From Canada, Stephen Gogolev, Joseph Fan, definitely ones to watch. From Italy, Daniel Grossel. Japan, Yuma Kageyama.
Off a big moment at Europeans, like that's and Yuma. Oh my gosh, after 4 continents, like.
And Shun Sato, who's quite strong. Russia, Peter Gumenik, Andrei Mozilev, Ilya Yablokov, is going to be there. Lee Si-hyung from South Korea. And then from the U.S., Ilya Malinin, Maxim Naumov, and Andrew Torgashev. So quite an interesting group of competitors there.
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks. So I'll be intrigued to see how Torgashev does.
All the Americans are question marks for me. Ilya was injured. It's an interesting kind of mix.
And whether people ride momentum or not after great Four Continents or Bavarian Opens or, U.S. Nationals, it'll be interesting. Or Europeans. Daniel, Europeans made an alarming statement.
Yeah. I think in the ladies, it's really like 5A fighting, but a lot of strong skaters. Kaya Ruder from Canada, Alison Schumacher, who we really liked her at the Canadian Nationals.
But we were a minority there. I think a lot of people found her drab, but it was a pretty tough field.
Okay, she doesn't have the most personality, but she has beautiful skating skills. I would rewatch. She's not like an effervescent type, but she's a beautiful skater who I think with the right music and continued work has something. From Japan, Tomoe Kawabata, Monica Wabi, looking down. So Russia, Maya Kromich. Katerina Kurokova from Poland, who works with Brian Orser, who he's very high on. So, Maya Kromich, Daria Usushova, and Kamila Valyeva. Kamila did not perform in the recent show. They didn't give an official reason why. From Korea, Hyein Lee is obviously the star there. And then in the U.S., Star Andrews, Alyssa Liu, and Lindsay Thorngren. So Alyssa Liu, obviously, a lot of expectations on her to really perform well. So,
yeah, I mean, for me, it's this top 5. I see the top 3 Russians. I see Alyssa, and I see Hyein Lee really duking it out here.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how Alyssa does, because this is a big experience, opportunity for her as they move towards the Olympics. A big competition. They have to take each one of these and apply the pressure to it so that she continues to grow as an athlete and as a skater. So we haven't seen her since the Nationals, so this is the next big test for her.
The next big thing, yeah.
But she did a good job at the final, but not as good as she could do. So I think that this is another interesting step for her. So another opportunity. And the pairs, I mean, it's Russia, I think.
Yeah, of course.
And a couple of, it's Russia. And Russia, some talented Canadians coming up, but it is Avon Lee Nguyen and Vadim Kolesnik's big moment.
And then Russia.
Yeah, and, Katerina and Karen Chen's brother, Jeffrey Chen, will be there. So, and he's interesting. Diana Davis and Gleb Smolkin, that's a more controversial one. Yes, they were supposed to be the 4th Russian team, but Igor and Terry were there at Nationals and
wiggled right in. Yeah.
Listen, those politics are working for them. Okay, they are moving on up to the deluxe apartment.
But we saw steady steps forward the last time we saw them.
Right, and now we think that she can hear, so the marks for musicality interpretation will go up. That was not an accident. That whole post after they got hosed at the Grand Prix final, I'm telling you, okay?
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing, okay? She was not going to be no Eve Shalom, okay? So
Right.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of who was the U.S. ice dancer, and I think she had Native American heritage.
Who was deaf?
Or she wore a hearing aid.
Eve Shalom.
That was her?
Eve Shalom and Matthew Gates. They were during the time of Naomi and Peter. Eve was the one.
Okay.
Who was hearing impaired. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless there was more than one, but Eve was during that time was.
Okay.
It was they were very open about it. So.
Okay. Because she wore the hearing aid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. And so they were quite a talented team, but when you're labeled as that, the judges may hold back. So
all
right.
correct.
So Do you think Avonlea and Vadim are going to do it? Are they going to Are they going to win?
I think yes.
They were just this part off the Junior Grand Prix final, and they did not do it. So
I think they're going to do it.
They're also rumored that, so Vadim doesn't have citizenship, right? And Avonlea is supposed to turn 18 in November. Jonathan, will they get married to expedite this citizenship?
Who is greenlighting that, even from a government office, though? I mean, that is the most transparent, weaselly kind of thing to do. I know it.
Excuse me. There were certain skaters in Michigan where the guy was gay, where it was known that he was gay.
Right.
And then he married a girl just because she wanted citizenship.
Yeah.
And they had, within the last couple of seasons, okay, no one famous, okay, because everyone's going to write this in the comments. It's not important, okay?
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's done all the time. So.
Yeah. I just find it hard to see that, that someone getting away with it at this point.
We've seen it happen so many times, and.
No.
I feel like. Why stop it?
They would be a solid third.
Yes.
They would be third choice for that Olympics.
Let it happen. Okay, you know what? It's called parenting. All right?
Try it.
You know what? That's called tiger momming. Okay? I'm all for it.
Here.
You get it done. Okay?
Amazing.
Listen, we can all have a wedding where we get them ready for the Olympics. We could come together.
16th wedding cake. Really just lay it on thick. Yeah.
Come on. We could put Jenny and Todd as the little people on the wedding cake. What do you call them? Come on.
In the purple Nessun Dorma or in the blue Nessun Dorma?
I think in the blue and the red, right? No, maybe the original, the magenta pinkish one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Classic.
Yeah. Depending
right?
on the theme of the wedding. Yeah, of course.
Or maybe they could do Jenny and Todd cake toppers when they're, what do they skate to? Remember their short program? Da, 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 da. Or they've skated to so many wonderful.
The wedding march? Amazing.
The wedding march? No, didn't they skate to the graduation?
Pomp and Circumstance.
Yes.
Elgar, yeah.
They've done it all. We have literally
They could have Todd punching the cake, he punched that wall at Worlds after the short program when he missed the double axel that one time. I mean, we could do a whole theme, Dave. We got it. We got this.
Yes. Okay. Really? Also, did you see the Tessa Virtue Barbie doll is going to be for sale? We have Jonathan. She is coming.
At long last, Dave.
Tessa is coming to school. You're behind during the recaps. Okay. Queen Tessa is coming. She's got a hockey boyfriend.
It'll be a welcome addition. What dress do they put her in? Or do you get to buy all the different ones?
No, it's the Moulin Rouge dress. And the fans...
And they were second at the free dance at the Olympics. And
remember the one that they wore on Spinning Out, and people thought that Tessa should have gotten royalties. Maybe Matthew Carone should have gotten it, but I think Matthew Carone was thrilled about the Barbie doll. He was honored, right?
People with those damn coffee cups. They're are you paying the skater? You're oh, you don't even know anything.
We are not going there.
Okay.
We are just anyway, it is great, I think, for all involved that Tessa is getting a Barbie doll. What an honor. So I think it has one of her newer noses. I mean, it's fabulous, right? So I think it's,
right.
Great. So, yeah, I mean...
I purchased the Barbie doll of Scott's fiancé.
Don't you think that they should make a Scott Moyer as a Ken doll? I know that it's a Shiro campaign, but let's just...
Oh, well, so that makes sense.
But let's think about this, Mattel. Tessa is an ice dancer. It is just an add-on, right? It could be an add-on to the Shiro campaign.
Let him be the accessory.
Yes, let him be the accessory.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Or just have...
just go with Liz Manley. Just bring us back a Liz Manley doll, and we'll be fine.
What, you want Liz Manley to be a Ken doll because she had the short hair? I mean, come on, Jonathan, that is mean, all right?
No, she'd be a skipper.
She really would be a skipper, okay? The silver medalist of Barbie dolls. No, come on. We need an accompanying Scott doll for the Moulin. Come on.
Did you see the Tessa interview where she was hi, I'm Tessa. Oh, these notes say I'm a 3-time Olympic medalist, but I'm pretty sure that's 5.
I didn't send that to me offline, John.
It was amazing because obviously it was supposed to say 3-time gold medalist, but yeah, she was cute about it. It was funny.
Also, my friend Tara and her team, the Nexus Open, they won the synchro and they were skating to Billie Eilish, just like Medvedeva and Zagitova. So, Billie Eilish really making waves in the skating world.
Do you remember that? The first time I heard about Billie Eilish, I think, was when, was it Zagitova and Danny G were getting in trouble about, like, ripping off, again, people that don't understand how, like,
Johnny, they are gonna comment in this. Oh my God, the headache that is about to come. That's all right.
That was literally the first time I'd ever heard of Billie Eilish.
I know. Such an important artist, okay? Yeah. I was actually looking at Billie Eilish, and it's one of those things, Billie just, like, all the songs are written in lowercase. Ugh. Okay.
It's real E.E. Cummings. She's a dead ringer for E.E. Cummings. Okay.
All right. Okay, it's a lot. But anyway, get excited for Junior Worlds. The championship season is upon us. I'm excited. Get excited.
Pack your bags. We're going to Estonia.
We're going to Estonia. All right. Hold an edge and look sexy. Bye, guys.